Welcome to our Apple Green Safari Tutu tutorial. We wanted to give a special thanks to music artist Jasper Sawyer. Find his music on YouTube.
Hi everyone, we're going to make a couple different tutus, and what we're going to do is we're going to make one on an elastic base and then the other is going to be on a crocheted base, and we're going to do the safari style, which is also considered animal print, in apple green as the accent, and then use some apple green tulle and some black tulle to really make this pop. So one of the things that I get a lot of questions about is when you're measuring your elastic, do you add or do you take away? Well, that's truly going to depend on your elastic. If it has a lot of elasticity, you're going to go backwards. If it's really tightly woven, then you're going to add a little extra. Remember though, you're adding weight to your elastic band, so it's going to increase in size just a bit. Also, when you're measuring, stretch it as you measure, okay? Don't leave it like this, because look, in essence it goes all the way to here. And that saves you money, and it also makes sure that it doesn't get too loose on you. Alright, so for example, this one, say, is 13 inches long, unstretched. Stretched, well, right here we're already at 18 inches, and we haven't stretched it out all the way yet. So let me take this and see if you can see that better. Okay, this right here is 24 inches. Now remember, we got 23 inches unstretched. This is already at the 24 point, and I still have room to stretch. So we're looking at 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. About 28 inches for a 13-inch piece of elastic. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your creating, especially when you're doing your cutting for your elastic band. And remember, if it's not real tightly woven, it will increase in size more than a real stiff piece of elastic. Alright. So this one we're going to make into an adult size one. So we've got 28 inches at 13. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit to it. 18 inches. Now all you need to do is cut. Now I've made it at 18 inches, but it's going to, a little bit of that space is going to be taken up once I hot glue it or I use my needle and thread. Needle and thread is great. Also, hot gluing it with some fabric glue or regular glue is just as fine. There you are. Bring it together, making sure that you get that glue on there really good. Press firmly, and you're going to want to make sure that you leave, say, maybe an inch or a quarter inch extra, just to make sure that that's really tight and secure. Now what you can do is you let it set and dry, then you'll check it again, and then you'll add whatever little glue you need to add if necessary. See if you can see that. And remember, hot glue, whether it is all-purpose or fabric style, dries really quickly. And you can always use your iron. If you find out that it's a little clumpy for you, just run it across a few times so it reheats, and then you can press firmly again to smooth it out. And that's it. Another thing that I do is I take my lighter here and I make sure that it's heat sealed as much as I can. Basically just making sure any frayed edges are burned off. This will be covered up, you won't see it. The tool will cover it. If you're putting satin over it, that'll cover it. So don't worry about it showing. That's not going to be a big issue. And if you're using the all-purpose clear glue, it's really not going to show at all. Now, if you see that you have a lot of excess, take the tip of your glue gun, run it across to take it off. And it also reheats to easily come off and then dry more smoothly for you. Okay? And that's it. And it's ready for me to create something with. So I took, let's say, 17.5 inches. I cut 18 and then I used half an inch. And that is still 18 inches stretched out on each side. So that's 36 inches around is what this is going to turn out. I only cut 18 inches, used half an inch to either sew or glue, and I still had 36 inches to play with. And remember, it will stretch a little because there'll be added weight to it once you put all the tulle on there. This is half an inch. You can use an inch as well. Basically what your preference is. And then this is the other one that we're going to create our child size safari tutu on, or up to 26 inches. And this is already pre-made. So let's get started. Alright, so since we're making the adult one first, we're going to cut 36 inches, and it'll basically be between 17 and 8 inches in length. And this is the specialty tool that we're using. And remember, you can look at our specialty tool without breaking the bank tutorials to see how you can save some money while still creating something completely unique using the specialty tool out there. Now this is on a bolt, so we're just going to cut one side that is on the side that is the folded edge. We're going to cut across. You can use a rotary cutter or regular scissors like I'm using right here. Don't forget, folks, if you're doing the slip knot method, you need to double the length. Alright, so you've cut your tool. Now all you're going to do is you're going to fold it up. And a lot of people say roll it. You can do that as well. Me, I just bring the folded side together as closely as possible. Let's see. Especially when you're working with longer tool, I find this easier. Then I bring it again. Lay it flat. I'm going to put something to hold the end. And now I'm going to cut. Now remember, when you're cutting at the folded side, you're going to want to make sure that you cut half of the width that you normally would for the rest, because it's folded over, so you're going to get double the width as it is. There we have it. And this is how wide it really is. See if you can see that. Now when I cut it, it looked like it was that size. But once it's opened up, it's double that. Okay? So just be aware of that, especially when you want a certain size precisely. Pick the width that you want. Cut it. Bring the ends together as closely as possible. Now, depending on what cut you're doing, you may not have to do this step. I'm folding it again, and then I am going for the diamond angled cut. It's got a nice point to it. Alright, we've got our tool cut. We've got black, apple green, shimmering tool, and then we have, of course, our specialty tool that is safari style. I think you'd consider this zebra, and it's apple green and black. And then we have, right here, this is what we created. It's elastic, and like I said, we're also going to do one on crocheted so you can see the difference. We're going to go ahead and start with the apple green. And we've got 4 pieces together, so that's going to be a 4-layered tutu skirt. Bring the ends together as closely as possible. Now, if you want to make it more staggered appearance, you don't have to worry about the ends being as close to as possible, because it's going to be based all on what you're going for. But if you want it all to be about the same length, go ahead and bring them as close as possible together. Make your slip knot. Now, since we're working with some different colors, I'm not going to tighten this as much as I normally would. Not yet. Alright, now let's do the black. Now, you can play with the style. You can do this any way you want. You can mix the apple green and black together, the black and apple green safari style tool. You can do all kinds of things. Totally up to you. Just play with it and use your creativity. Alright, bring it together as tightly as you can. Okay? So this will help you with making the knot clean. See if you can see this. I was trying to use my... Bring it together. Wind it with your fingers. Bring the tails up. Gently pull through. Put your finger as a guide for you to tighten it just a bit. Now, if you know exactly where everything's going to be placed, you can take your dowel or your stick type instrument and really tighten this. But I'm not quite sure how I want it, so we're just going to tighten it lightly. Alright, let's see if you can see a little bit better here. Now what we've done is we've added a mix of the apple green shimmering tool and the black shimmering tool. And unfortunately, you can't see the shimmer very well. And I'm trying with all kinds of lighting, but anyway, I apologize. Hopefully when I take the pictures we'll be able to see. And all I've done is taken 4 pieces, mixed them together, and we're doing the slip knot method again. Now, depending on how much of the safari tool that you have will determine which way you're going to go with your creation. Alright, and what I mean by that is, we're using 4 layers of tulle, which, that can be quite a bit. So this is what it looks like with 4 of the specialty tulle. And I will say this seems to be a bit more stiff than the other, which could be a benefit, especially when you're poofing it out. Alright, so bring it together as tight as possible because you want to make a nice clean knot. Okay, let's see what it looks like right here. Not quite sure if I like it. What do you think? We'll try it a few different ways on here. And then since I don't have this really tight, it'll be easy to take off. But what I was talking about, putting 4 layers, and like I said, this one's a little bit stiffer. You may want to mix it up like we did on this one, and it'll kind of spread out that stiffness. And it will also make it more cost effective. Let's try it with the black as the backbone of it instead. And we're going to put the specialty tool on the outside. All right? I think that's what I did wrong when we put it on the apple green. Bring them together. Squish it so it's easier to work with. I like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try the apple green in the middle instead of on the outside and see if that makes a significant difference. Because you're doing a safari themed tutu, you want the safari to really show. Alright, bring it together. Gently tug the tails through the hole that you've created. Use your finger as a guide. Tighten it just a bit. There we go. Now that does not look bad at all. I like that. I still prefer, I think, with the black undertone, just because it really brings out that safari style more. Let's see if you can see. So you have several different ways that you can do this. Again, this is 4 layers, so 4 pieces of tulle per spot. These will not be as thick. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, that you can create this and really make it unique and make it your own. So your own couture tutu creation. So let me finish this up and then I will show you the end result and we'll get started on the crocheted band style.
Apparently I got a little long-winded on this tutorial, but I wanted to go through some of the steps that we usually speed through. This is the end result of the adult size safari tutu. We used black shimmering, apple green shimmering, and then of course our specialty safari style apple green and black tulle. And we mixed some of it together as well to be more cost effective. I think it turned out fantastic. Now this is not poofed up as much as it can be, so keep that in mind when you're creating. You can make this even more poofy and full looking. And we used 4 layers. We're going to split this into 2 videos since I said I got long-winded, and we are going to make the safari style apple green and black on a crocheted band in part 2. So again, thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. It is quite humbling that you take the time out of your busy schedule to watch our videos. Have a fabulous day.